What's up, guys? Welcome to Misplaced Cinematography yet again. This is another episode that we're just cranking out. Gotta keep putting them out there. Again, it's not happening every day. But anyways, I just got a new setup, and so we're gonna test some things out today, see what we can find. So I'm using 4 microphones today, see what we can get, what's the best one. So I'm gonna give a couple quick tips that I learned recently and that I am going to, and that I kind of know from experience, just talk about those tips so I have something to talk about while testing them. So first is the boom. Actually, we're going to try to do worst to best. So we're going to do Zoom H4n. These are just the onboard speakers. Okay, so here's where I'll introduce what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the process of interviewing people and a couple of tips that might be helpful when setting up sound and all of this. So this is going to sound slightly hypocritical because you can hear my microphone or my camera focusing. So I'm going to turn that off while we're doing this. Okay, and that should be enough talking to get us through that first one. Now we're going to switch to the second microphone, which is going to be my microphone that I've been using, which is the Rode VideoMic Pro. And so I have that connected straight into my camera, and that's what's recording this sound right here. Setting up sound. One thing we want to do is try to make sure there's as least extra noise as possible. So that's why I turned off the fan for here. I was recording something earlier, kind of testing, seeing if I could understand how to work the new equipment that I have, and there was sound coming from behind me, which kind of messed things up. So if we can get it to at least a little bit quiet, it's a lot helpful. Okay. Tip number 3, and we're going to move on to the lapel mic. So this is the lapel mic that I have under my shirt right now, and this is a way that we can record sound pretty well. This is a very common way to deal with the problem. So when setting up sound, the second thing we want to do is try to test it. So whether that's at home before or on-site is better if you have headphones and you can monitor the sound, see if we can make sure you're getting something that sounds decent. One way to do that is to ask people about their life, about their job, what they do, all these kind of things, because that's something that people can talk about. And if you just tell them, hey, just start saying something, I gotta check sound, then it kind of gets a little bit awkward. They don't always know what to say, and it's a little bit tricky. Okay, yep, so that's that tip. Now we're gonna move on to the boom mic number 4, and I have that mounted right up there. It has a windscreen over it. I'll take it off in a minute, and that can kind of count as 5 to see what the difference is between that. This tip is more, I'm going to roll 2 tips into one, because the second tip is going to be an introduction to the second thing I'm talking about today. So, tip. When interviewing people, try to make it as much like a conversation as it can. So we don't want to go through a list and just read off. So the second question I have for you is blah, 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 blah. What do you think about that? We want to talk to them, ask them about the vision of the places they're part of, ask them how they got involved in things, what they do, why that means something to them. And every time they answer, don't just move on to the next question. Ask follow-up questions. Ask about it, because those follow-up questions are where you get the gold. Their answers to the questions might be helpful, but their answers to the follow-up questions will be more real, more genuine, and you can use those in a more purposeful way later to craft the story that you're actually looking for. Alright, also, while new mics are fantastic, there's a problem, which is fancy mics you can't bring everywhere, like randomly into the store. So we're going to go back to the old one. First up, we got cereal, because it's fantastic. Also note, when buying eggs, you have to check the non-brokenness of all of them. These ones are good. Okay, so I might be getting kicked out soon. We'll see. We're gonna go see if we can. This is the perfect day for clearing the bread. Like, look at this clearing the bread. There's so much. And they have like pepperoni kind of pizza-ish pull-apart roll bread things, which I think we're gonna get some of those because that's important. I finally found the tortillas. I lost them for a second, but yes, we got them. Also, side note, when you're vlogging out in public and you have a big camera pointed at yourself, you get a lot of glances and stares from people, and they don't know what to do with you, and it's kind of uncomfortable, but such is life. And that's how you start making connections, put yourself out there, and it helps you
Bluetooth mode.
And it helps you learn to get over yourself and be okay being uncomfortable if that's what a situation takes, which is a fantastic quality. It just, it's not easy to get there, and it's kind of uncomfortable. I'm not saying I'm there. I'm bringing this up because it's kind of uncomfortable, but it's cool. Anyways, let's go home. Okay, secondly, I'm going to introduce my new topic, or the topic that we're going to talk a little bit about. I don't know how in depth, but I'm going to take off the wind protector right now. This is the wind protector for the Rode NTG4. It is off now. So, new piece of equipment is the Zoom H4n Pro. So there's a couple problems that I have noticed with this. Not necessarily problems, but things to be aware of if you're going to use this. First off, it can record 4 channels. It'll record left and right for the onboard microphone, and 2 more channels via XLR inputs. One will be recorded as left, one will be recorded as right. Now when I got this, I was assuming that was going to be at least 3 different tracks. So it was going to record them as left and right for the top, 1, 2 for 2 extra microphones. No, these 2 will be understood by Premiere because it's very intelligent as, oh, that's left and right. Let's put them together as the same track and we can use them later. So theoretically, that's a fantastic idea. Unfortunately, if you're trying to record 2 different microphones or 2 different people, it causes problems. So you have to go into Premiere, separate them before you put them on the track by modifying the channels. It's under Clip. And then you can split it. And then you can unlink them and move them around. So they're already synced, which is nice. But yes, that's something to be aware of. Anyways, let's go live a life. Peace and love. Let's move on.